Well, guys, looks like the Pope fucked up. And by fucked up, I mean absolutely fucked up. The Pope is in deep shit right now over this child abuse stuff going on in the Catholic Church, okay? And this has been an ongoing issue for years. This has been going on for for decades, maybe even a century, maybe even longer than that. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous that this shit's still going on. Alright, now, as a guy who wasn't very enthused when Pope Francis took Pope Benedict, whatever his name, whatever number he had last name, his place, and the whole thing there, I wasn't very enthused with that. Mostly because he didn't really act like the Pope. You know, he's supposed to be a source of religious leadership, and instead he was just more like a politician, which was dumb. And I honestly think that was it was just stupid by him to do that. And that's all my background. He's done some good stuff. He's done some bad stuff. And honestly, I just call him like I see him because honestly, I don't care about the Catholic Church that much. Never really have. Even when I was a semi-Catholic at one point, I didn't really care because I just didn't really care. But this whole child sex abuse scandal it's gotten bad. I mean, this is coming off of the Pennsylvania child sex abuse stuff, where over for about 700 priests, I think it said. Let me check it out because I have these sources right. I have an article link on my computer that I can look up real quick. It was 500 priests assaulted 1,000 children over the course of 70 years in Pennsylvania. 500. They doubled that to 1,000. That's absolutely insane and inexcusable. Okay? And that's pretty bad. Now, is this indicative to say that the entire Catholic Church is complicit in these acts? No. This is just one part of Pennsylvania, but it does show that from almost every part of the world right now, it's been mired in sexual abuse of children. And it's bad. It's bad. It's gotten really bad. I still don't know how they haven't really quelled this. And yes, there are some who are wanting to protect them just so that way they won't lose their jobs or something like that, or just protecting them because, they know them. They're not that bad people. And stuff like that. So you have all that. And it's just, like I said, it's just a really shitty scenario for the Catholic Church, and it's going to take them a while to really recover from this. But yeah, 500 priests molested over 1,000 children in Pennsylvania. That was a Catholic thing in Pennsylvania. Like I said, that's absolutely inexcusable. And then this news came up, I think sometime last week, sometime late last week, and that Pope Francis actually removed some religious sanctions against this guy named Theodore McCarrick, who was a cardinal, like a high-ranking cardinal, I think he was, and he didn't, he apparently revoked this dude's sanctions against him. While he did call for him to resign a couple weeks ago or a month ago or whatever the thing said, if he took away those sanctions and he knew full well that this dude was like a child molester, then that spells some pretty bad shit for the Pope. And honestly, from my honest view, he should resign right now. He should be resigning. If he knew about this, absolutely knew everything about this McCarrick guy, he knew everything about this cardinal, that he was inviting Sumerians into his bed, or not Sumerians, but he was inviting, bishops and whatever into his bed at night and molesting boys, underage, and even boys and girls, underage children, then he should resign. He should resign. If he knew about all that and then it just happened again, I mean, I don't know how the hell he still has a job. I really, honestly, if he doesn't resign, you're going to see the biggest backlash you have ever seen against the Catholic Church. Because this is spread all the way to the top brass. Alright, if it's spread all the way to the top brass, I mean, you know it's trouble. You know it's trouble. And like I said, I still don't understand it. Alright, now there's some other controversies about, like, this is like a coup d'etat against the liberal Pope Francis. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about his politics right now. I just said it. I don't care about him. Alright, yeah, he does some stupid shit, but honestly, as a whole, he wasn't really doing much that really made me care. I mean, yeah, he said, like I said, he said some stupid shit. Like I said, don't really care about him. But if this is true, then yes, he should be resigning. I don't care about his politics. Alright? I'm not a Catholic, and I think he should freaking resign right now. Alright? And apparently this is all about this whole feudal war with freaking ex-bishop who was an ambassador to the U.S., who met with that Kentuckian who didn't want to do the same-sex marriage certificate thing. And that was a stupid deal, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, this anti-gay guy said that he's only attacking him because he's defending the gay people or something like that. And I'm like, look, if he revoked the sanctions that were a part of, you know, part of a freaking sexual abuse scandal, if he revoked those sanctions that were already in place, and then this guy all of a sudden just went around and did it again, he should be expelled from his source of power. He should resign. The Vatican should do something to, like, take some power away from him. I mean, hell, the last pope resigned after some economic abuses, like after some economic scandals within the Vatican. So it's like, I mean, seriously, why won't he resign? You know, the very clear answer to that is he doesn't want to lose his power, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people are like, well, that's normal. That, of course they're not going to want to give up their source of power. When you're in a position high as the Vatican, where, like, you're like the big religious leader, the largest Christian group out there, I mean, hell yeah, you don't want to give up your spot. But honestly, there are a lot of people who are defending him still. Not many, but there are still a lot of people around the world who are defending him. But look, he's already stepped on the toes of conservative, blah, 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 conservative freaking people in the Vatican for a while now. But now it's gotten to the point where even the people who are the liberal side are, like, you know, dissatisfied with him. Where they're like, we don't like this guy, we need to get him out of here and stuff like that. And so, like, well, honestly, you should just go regardless of politics. He's an asshole. And I don't particularly care about his stance with Trump either. Alright, like I said, he said some good things. Like the Charlie Day stuff, absolutely. Alright, all the stuff with the kids not being allowed to get treatment outside of Britain because the British government's a bunch of fucking tools. And he said that he could, you know, the Vatican could help him with some experimental treatments. I was like, hell yes. Absolutely. I agree with that. Abso-fucking-lutely agreed with that. Alright, it's not like, alright, it's like, I disagree with his politics, but when it came to that situation, I was like, yes, I completely agree with him. Alright, because I'm not a petty asshole who's going to just spin it into, like, oh, he's only doing this to pander or something like that. No, it was the right decision to make. It was the right thing to say. But then when it comes to this sexual abuse thing, it's like, I thought that, you know, this whole stuff with the Catholic Church and sexual abuses was getting better under Francis. I mean, I honestly wasn't hearing a lot of stuff about it, but then this Pennsylvania thing came up. I was like, oh shit, this ain't good. And then just right now, it's gotten to the point where even the Pope is involved, and I mean involved personally with at least one child molester within the Catholic Church. And so, like I said, if he doesn't resign, there's going to be loads of backlash, okay? If it gets to the point where everybody is against Pope Francis because of this stuff, then, you know, there's going to be a significant backlash against the Catholic Church if Pope Francis doesn't resign. Because he's going to drag him down. He's going to drag down the name of the Catholic Church. Drag down more than it already has been because of the Church protecting its own when it comes to this stuff. Alright, and I'm not saying that the entire Catholic Church is complicit in this stuff, right? I think most of the people in the country and most of the people in the Vatican would say that if you are, molesting kids and doing sexual acts with them in the privacy of your own confines, you're kind of being a little bit wrong there, like, in that you should lose your job and stuff like that. Most people think like that. Hell, I go a step further and say if you are molesting a kid at all, you should be freaking murdered. Oh look, dead zebras. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, it's like you don't do that shit. You don't just do that shit and get off with a slap on the wrist and then keep doing stuff where you would be closer to those people. And it's like, there was another thing where the Pope let a dude go to Australia, and this is where the whole Australian thing came in. And it's like he sends this guy to Australia, and then he gets rocked with this gigantic sexual abuse scandal there. So I'm just like, how the hell has it gotten this bad? I'm honestly shocked by this. Like, how the hell did it get this bad? Now, there is also an unpopular view that some have taken, but this is something I have actually gotten myself to believe a little bit. It's that, the people will defend people that, people within the confines of their group if they don't believe that they have actually done it so, because they want to protect the name of their church. So now I can understand that. But an important distinction to make is that this is something that happens everywhere. This happens, with stuff like, the White House. It happened with the White House, with Bill Clinton. And it's happening right now with Donald Trump and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And, this happens with probably Scientology. This happens with other religious institutions. This happens with freaking colleges and public schools, for Christ's sake. Okay, the situation, while it's bad right now in terms of the Catholic Church, it is way worse when it comes to American public schools. Now, you know how many teachers are being arrested for having sex with underage boys or girls? It's pretty bad in American public school system when it comes to that. And so it's just this happens everywhere. Right? And this is something that, people like Ben Shapiro tend to say. It may be unpopular, but honestly, I tend to agree with it because, people will defend their institution. They want to protect the name of the institution. And that's where it kind of lends itself to the misguidedness of some people. It's they don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe it. And I can't necessarily blame people for thinking like that. But if the evidence is out there in the open, you have to say something. You have to say, hey, this ain't right. This is some bullshit. Don't be going around defending these people. Alright, we know what they are. They're a bunch of freaking pedophiles and child molesters. Sexual abusers. They should be arrested. They should be resigning from their posts or being fired. Something. Do something. The Vatican can be doing something right now, but it's, mired in all this crap. It's kind of hard to really get them to do anything. So like I said, this whole scandal with the Catholic Church, it's really gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt. Alright? Now all that stuff with the last Pope, Benedict, what's his face, he resigned because of economic abuses. He resigned because of economic stuff. This Pope who came in was going to help fix the problem. Instead, he's helped make the problem worse. Not even in that same area. He brought in, he was going to be the guy to replace this other Pope. He was going to fix some shit. Instead, he's helped make the situation 5 times worse in an area where he wasn't even, brought in to replace the guy on. So it's just, like I said, this whole situation is really shit. And it's just, indicative of where everyone stands culturally. Now, I'm not going to say that it's all the homosexuals' fault, though there is some of the lessening of sexual, the easing of sexual restrictions within the Catholic Church that certainly led to some of this stuff. I'm not saying that, you know, you can't have sex and be a Catholic, but, you know, I mean, if you're a religious person, I mean, I don't think sex should be the first thing on your mind. I think a lot of people would tend to agree with me on that, particularly with young boys. And it's just like, it's just, I really want this all to end, like, bad right now. So, okay, so I'm just gonna leave it off here. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So I'm in a deep backlog of stuff that I'm trying to get through. I'm really wanting to make some more videos on other things, but you know, I just keep doing other stuff or I get busy, and I got school starting right now, so it's gonna be utter hell trying to get stuff done. So anyway, don't die.